Guys, I've got just one more day to find perhaps the weirdest looking creature in the ocean, the weedy scorpionfish. Now, this creature is going to be pretty much impossible to find, but I promise you, we are going to find a ton of crazy critters along the way. Let's go down. So as soon as we entered the water, guys, we came across this big carpet anemone lying in the sand. So these anemones are often home to clownfish or anemone fish, and this one actually had a few resident saddleback anemone fish. Now, these guys were being unusually aggressive, but when they're like this usually means one thing. So these anemone fish were actually protecting their eggs. Anemone fish typically lay their eggs on rocks or hard surfaces, and when they're laid, they're actually this bright orange colour. Over the course of a couple of weeks, they turn to a darker grey and silvery colour, and they typically hatch just after it gets dark. Whilst it might look fantastic to see so many eggs, this is actually just a harsh reminder about how brutal nature is, and how few of them will actually survive to adulthood. So we also spent a little bit of time looking for something very special in these sponges. And although we didn't actually find it in the sponges, we did find what we were looking for a little bit deeper. Check out this beautiful little seahorse. Now, I've actually got no idea what species this is, and I think what makes this particularly difficult to identify is that I think this little guy is actually a juvenile, and therefore he hasn't actually developed his adult coloration or features just yet. So we didn't manage to find the Holy Grail on this dive, but I officially have a new favourite critter to find, which is the harlequin shrimp. I've actually never seen one before, so the one we saw in this dive just now is the first one, and yeah, crazy creature. Interestingly, they're usually in pairs. This one was just on its own. That would have been probably the bigger one of the pair. There was also like a little orange mass in his, whatever you call them, nippers, claws. At first I thought this might have been eggs, but actually it was the remnants of a starfish. So the really interesting thing about harlequin shrimps is they are starfish eaters, and you can often find them either sitting on big starfish or around starfish as well, which is super cool. Anyway, we're gonna try again to find my target fish. I really hope we can find it, but it literally could be anywhere, so who knows? So guys, I think this might have been the best macro dive I've ever done. After getting in the water, it wasn't long until we found this big honeycomb moray eel sat underneath a rock. These morays have some of the most stunning patterns in coloration, although they also come with a mouth full of weaponry that also includes a second extendable jaw. Now, this video is actually about critters, and I'm not sure that a metre-long moray counts as a critter. However, this moray was actually here for good reason. He'd parked up in this hole to be cleaned. These fantastic little critters are clear cleaner shrimps, and are a small species of commensal shrimp that gather in large numbers. This honeycomb moray is actually their client. Now, the moray seem to have a love-hate relationship with the cleaner shrimps, and tolerated their presence, but made it pretty clear when they started picking at the wrong place. When looking for small creatures underwater, it's always a good idea to look for food sources. Although, I guess most people wouldn't think that this also includes the mouth of a metre-long moray eel. So, whilst I was filming the moray eel, I actually saw a yellow flash out of the corner of my eye. But yet again, it was a false alarm. So, this fantastic fish is very similar to the fish we're looking for. It's a leaf scorpionfish that can often be seen wafting around on the bottom, imitating a fallen leaf. Unfortunately for the smaller fish that fall for this trick and try to use the scorpionfish for cover, they soon find themselves being sucked into its cavernous mouth in a fraction of a second. On the topic of bizarre-looking bottom-dwelling fish with crazy hunting techniques, we also found this little guy. So this amazing creature is a warty frogfish, and perhaps my favourite species of fish. Frogfish are anglerfish, a group of fish that often use a lure to hunt. And this one was keen to put on a display for us and show us how he uses his lure. The other interesting anatomical feature of the frogfish is that they have these hand-like pectoral fins that they use for walking along the bottom and straddling corals. Now, although these frogfish can actually swim, they do come across as being pretty lazy. And when you see them, they often seem to prefer lower effort forms of moving across the sand. So we carried on swimming around for a bit, but I must admit I was starting to lose hope at this point. This was my final dive in the area, and I didn't have any plans to come back soon. The fish we were looking for is a true bucket list fish, and this was perhaps a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see one, especially one that looked like this. As is always the case though, guys, surprises often come about when you least expect them. So this fantastic creature is a Rhinopia, or more commonly known as a Weedy Scorpionfish. And this one was the one that we've been looking for. So the weedy scorpionfish is a bottom-dwelling venomous fish that, like the leaf scorpionfish we found earlier, imitates weed rolling around on the bottom in order to trick prey into coming within striking range. These fish come in a variety of colours, from reds to browns, purples and pinks, although a yellow specimen is particularly rare. Guys, this fish is often referred to as the holy grail of diving, and I literally could not believe we found one. I was lucky enough to sit with this guy for a good half an hour, although after a while I think he got pretty tired of me. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you love this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you've got an idea of what you'd like me to look for next, let me know in the comments.